Alright, we're back with another episode of Daddy and Dax Roast Power Rankings. Today we won't be doing much power ranking stuff, although we will be showing our college football power rankings.
That's right.
And we're going to be reviewing last week's ESPN College Pick'em,
And doing this week's.
and then doing this week's, yes.
Didn't do so hot last week, did we, Dex?
No, we did not.
Let's go through them all. Southern Miss and Arky State. Well, we picked Arky State, not a good choice, huh?
It was close, 21.
It was a close game.
21.
We were going for an upset there. And our boy Malachi Nelson almost got it up there in UTEP, but he couldn't pull it off, huh?
No, we couldn't, and Jacksonville State pulled it off. But we did get the next four correct. That would be Texas A&M beating Missouri, Arizona beating Kansas, Clemson beating Florida State, and Oregon beating Iowa.
It was a close one up there in Iowa. Up in Ames, it was a close one, but Oregon did pull it off.
That was a fun one to watch.
It was a fun one to watch. The end was terrible weather, but it was a fun one to watch at the end.
Then TCU lost to Iowa State.
I'd said we should have picked Rocco back in Iowa State. They did pull it off, but it was close. It was a close loss.
And now TCU is, I think, officially eliminated from Big 12.
I believe that is correct. I think they have 2 new losses at this stage.
Next up, UCLA. We picked them to beat the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Nebraska did win.
Yeah, and to be fair there, the backup quarterback, I think it's Peyton McGee. He played well, at least in the first half. They were unstoppable running the ball in the first half. UCLA made a charge, but not quite enough. And then, of course, the Virginia Cavaliers, sorry, JoJo, they did lose. We picked them to beat Wake Forest, and they lost. They had a chance. They had the ball down deep. Couldn't make it happen there at the end. We did get the big one, the big game of the week, Texas Tech over BYU. That was kind of a domination.
Yeah.
We weren't able to watch that game because we were playing soccer at the time, but
we watched
parts of it, but didn't get to see all of that game, but it sure looked like a domination. So let's go ahead and go through, we can't do the pick 'em this week, so let's go through our power rankings, Dex.
Yeah, we're too early this week for our pick 'em, but
Who do we have at number 1 in our rankings, Dex?
number 1 in our rankings is Ohio State, as everybody, I think everybody would, put
Yeah, I think Ohio State's number 1 at everybody's.
ESPN says that.
Let's see if I can get SP Plus up here. That's going to be one that's a little different. If you're not familiar with SP Plus, you should be. That is one that is considered by the College Football Committee. They also have Indiana, or Ohio State at number 1. Now, who do we have at number 2, Dex?
Number 2, we have Texas A&M.
Yeah, they continue to impress, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Why does this say 9-1? Oh, that's Texas Tech. I thought I misunderstood Texas Tech for Texas A&M. So Texas A&M has looked great this season.
They have ranked wins over Missouri. Who do they have their ranked wins? I forget who all their ranked wins are. They had several though.
They beat LSU, and LSU was technically ranked.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if they can do this and pull up their. I don't remember their schedule off the top of my head. We can pull it up pretty quickly here. There it is. Let's look at their schedule and see who their wins are over. They had that win over Notre Dame, that big win early in the season.
Yes.
Missouri was ranked, LSU was ranked. That's their only ranked wins. Maybe we're overrating them. They played South Carolina this week. I would expect them to beat South Carolina. It's at home. Lenore Sellers, that whole team is disappointed this year.
Marcel Reedus looks like the best hybrid quarterback.
He really has. He's looked fantastic this year. Who do we have at number 3, Dax?
Number 3, we have Indiana.
We have Indiana. I think most polls and the SP Plus, they are all going to put Indiana at number 2. I don't have a problem with that. Indiana did escape Penn State, but I think it's okay to have a road close win. They didn't lose. They did pick up a victory. So, they kept their season going, right? That undefeated season. That they're locked into the playoff at this point. I don't think that there's any result that could happen to knock them out of the playoff at this stage. I don't know what result you'd have to see for Indiana to not make it. You know, Dax?
Yeah, I don't either. We're going to take a look at their schedule. They only have 2 games. Wisconsin, number 2, are awful.
Wisconsin did get a win this past week. Luke Fickell did get a win in his first start after that big news that he was definitely coming back next year. Big win over Washington at home. I mean, how big of a win is that? No, Wisconsin and Purdue are awful. If Indiana dropped both those games, it wouldn't make the playoff. There's no way they're not winning those two games. So for us, at number 4, who do we have, Dax?
Number 4, we have Alabama.
Alabama not the SP Plus is not a fan of Alabama. They have them at number 11.
But we're big fans of Alabama.
I don't know. Alabama, after that stupid loss early, has just absolutely been rolling. They went through that one stretch there. Georgia on the road. Vanderbilt beat Vanderbilt. Missouri on the road. They beat Tennessee. They beat South Carolina. They pretty much owned LSU this week. Big test this week? Okay. By rankings, it's a big test. I think they're going to destroy Oklahoma. I don't think it's going to be close. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think that's going to be a close one. But, we'll see. Number 5, who do we have, Dax?
Number 5, we have Texas Tech.
Texas Tech dominated the game against BYU. An interesting stat out of that game that I saw that really shows a lot about Texas Tech. BYU had 8 plays total inside Texas Tech's side of the field. That's an incredible stat. I mean, this was an undefeated team. I get it, they were on the road, but my goodness, that's domination.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, who we got, Dax?
Number 6, we have the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia Bulldogs. Now, Georgia's had a good season, although it's a
test this weekend.
This is a test this week. There's no doubt about it. Their final 2 games are not. I guess they have Charlotte in the middle. They have 3 games. They're going to beat Charlotte by 50. But boy, this might be it. This is it. If they win this game,
they're locked in the playoffs.
I would think they're locked in the playoffs because they're going to beat Charlotte. And then even if they lost to Georgia Tech, I think they'd still be in the playoff as a 2-loss SEC team with wins over Ole Miss, wins over Tennessee, and then they could also have a win over Texas.
To Alabama.
I think they're in. If they win against Texas, Texas is also going to say, "Hey, we want to make the playoff." But we'll see about that. Who do we have at number 7, Dax?
At number 7, we have the Oregon Ducks.
Oregon Ducks. SP Plus loves the Big Ten because Oregon is number 3 in the SP Plus. You know, I'm not a fan of Oregon.
No.
It's not. I'm not a
big fan of the jerseys, but
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't think they're as good as certainly that number 3 ranking. I don't think they're as good as people talk about. They escaped Iowa. If that young man gets his foot fully in, if he's 6 inches further in, he gets free.
I'm gonna see what Oregon's uniforms this week are.
Okay.
You keep talking.
If that kid's foot was just a little further back, they at best tie that game. Then they go to overtime in an absolute downpour in Ames, and who knows what happens. That's the second great escape that they have. They haven't revealed those uniforms yet. They'll probably do it sometime this week. So we'll figure it out this week, right, Dax?
Mm-hmm.
Oregon also has a tough run in. This week against Minnesota, they should win. But then they get USC and Wisconsin. Those are going to be tricky games.
USC and Washington.
Tricky games for Oregon to close out the year. And I think Oregon has to win all of them.
Yeah. I think they can afford to lose one.
Maybe lose one. Who do we have at number 8, Dax?
At number 8, we have the Ole Miss Rebels, and that's exactly where they are in the SP.
It is. If you've been following along here, though, there are 2 teams that are higher in the SP that we haven't mentioned yet. They'll be coming up soon. Who do we have at number 9, Dax? One of those 2 teams?
Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame is still getting a little bit of credit for their early season losses. They were close losses to Miami and Texas A&M, but they did lose those games, and they've been basically had no margin for error, and that continues this week because their big game, the game for them, it's an eliminator, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's an absolute eliminator, and that is their game against Pitt.
Pittsburgh has a gauntlet to run.
Pittsburgh has a gauntlet to run through the end of the season. They play Notre Dame at home, then at Georgia Tech, and then at home against Miami. That's a gauntlet. But this week, Notre Dame Pitt, that's an eliminator for them, and we'll see if they can win. Then they close the season with Syracuse and Stanford, and they're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose, I think they'll probably knock them out. Who do we got at number 10? 10. Oh, here we go.
The Texas Longhorns.
The Texas Longhorns finally showing up at number 10 in our poll. They're at number 14 in SP Plus. But Texas has it all in front of them, guys.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Georgia. They beat Texas A&M. There's no way they're not making the playoffs.
Yes.
And you and I, as we discussed earlier, I think there's a path for them if they win one of those games. I think if if they win,
Especially the Georgia game.
if they win on the road against Georgia and then have a close loss against Texas A&M, they'd be a 3-loss SEC team. I think other things have to happen for that to work, but I think they could still make the playoff. I think they're the one team with a shot at being a 3-loss SEC team in May.
Yeah.
Who got number 11, Dax?
Number 11 is the BYU Cougars.
BYU, SP Plus does not like them. They're number 22. That's unfair. But BYU.
Well, this is entirely metrics.
It is. It's all entirely metrics based. BYU, I mean, look, they got dominated on the road by Texas Tech, but that Texas Tech defense is for real. They would be one of the.
I'm English at the door.
They would be one of the top defenses in the SEC or the ACC. There's millions of articles out there about the talent on that line and how much they're making. But Texas Tech dominated them. But BYU is not eliminated from the playoff. They do probably have to win out.
And win the Big 12 championship.
But they're not done. They're certainly not done. Who do we got at number 12, Dax?
Number 12 is my Vanderbilt Commodores.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, the Commodores. It's all up for them, but this is not. I mean, they've got to win out. Obviously, they're not going to make the SEC championship. They're going to win this week against Kentucky, and it's all going to come down to that game in Knoxville against Tennessee at the end of the year.
Mhm. I agree.
If they win those 2 games, they'll be in the playoff. If they lose, they will not.
Mhm.
How about number 13? We already talked about them a little bit.
Sooners.
Sooners of OU. I'm with you, Dax. We talked about them a little bit ago.
20 hours, 14 minutes.
Pittsburgh, Pitt has a gauntlet to run, but I think OU has a tough run out too, because they're going to go to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. They've already got 2 losses, Texas and Ole Miss. Yeah, I don't know. If OU can pull off the upset against Alabama this week, then that'll be amazing. We'll have to see.
Maybe
not sure.
some people.
I'm not sure. Number 14, Dax, who we got?
Number 14 is the Utah Utes.
The Utah Utes. Now, this is an interesting team. They're ranked number 7 in the SP Plus. The big thing about that is I'm guessing, and they were also highly rated by the College Football Playoff Committee. My guess is that they did get beat handily by Texas Tech, but Texas Tech is fairly high rated. Their other loss came against BYU when their quarterback was out. Devin Van Deer did not play in the game.
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did play against that. Their other loss is a close road loss to BYU. They finished the game. They're going to win all 3 of their final games. They're going to beat Baylor. They're going to beat K-State. They're going to beat Kansas. I don't know what the playoff committee does with them.
I was talking with you earlier. If they're 13 right now and they win out, that would imply that they would be better than 10.
I would agree with you, because there are some intra matchups in the top 12, like OU and Alabama.
So here's what I'm thinking. The Big 12 could get 3.
I think there's a path to the Big 12 getting 3. I really do. Now, some crazy things have to happen, and one of those has to be Oregon, which just basically collapsing here at the end of the year. Pittsburgh needs to beat Notre Dame, for example. For the Big 12 to get 3, I think it's possible. I don't think it's likely. I do think it's possible.
Either Notre Dame has to not make the playoff or Oregon has to fall off.
Well, I think Notre Dame they cannot make it. If they make the playoff, that cuts a spot, and I think that really hurts you. I don't think Utah can get in with Notre Dame this year.
I don't know, because if Oregon falls out, then that would open up a spot in the top.
The challenge with Oregon falling out, I don't disagree, but the challenge with Oregon falling out is that likely means that a different Big Ten team has stepped in, like a USC or perhaps a Michigan. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out. This is a critical weekend. This weekend is a critical weekend for sure. That's what we lost our rankings there. So who do we have after Utah, Dax?
Georgia Tech at 15.
Ramblin' Wreck. The Ramblin' Wreck has everything's in front of them too. They are maybe not favored to make the playoff now, but they've got a loss. They lost to NC State. They will beat Boston College. Boston College is terrible this year. Then they get a home game against Pitt. Boy, if Pitt could beat Notre Dame, and then Georgia Tech beats Pitt, that gives them a lot. And then they end the season at Georgia. The scary thing in the ACC, I'm not going to go through the different ways you get into the ACC championship, because there's just way too many teams left, and they don't play each other, which makes it really difficult to figure out.
Now, some of them play each other.
Some of them do, but not all of them. There's
They all play a different one in the mix.
They do, but you could still end up with 3 or 4 teams tied at the ACC, and I don't know what tiebreakers should have. Georgia Tech. All right, number 16. Who we got, Dax? Another ACC team, Miami.
Miami. Oh boy, why?
Just like last year, they collapsed again.
They're gonna lose to Pitt in the last week.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll probably beat NC State, but don't NC State is not a good football team, but they do have some wins this year against teams that you're like, oh, okay, that team's pretty good.
Yeah.
They beat Virginia, right? I mean, they have some interesting wins. They beat Georgia Tech. So I don't think NC State beats Miami, but I'm also not willing to go bet the house on it either. So who do we got after that, Dax?
Virginia next,
Yeah,
another
Virginia.
ACC.
Another ACC team, and Virginia just absolutely blew it this weekend against Wake Forest, losing 16-9.
They should
Um,
have been.
They should still make the ACC championship, although the game against Duke is sneaky good. It's a
This
sneaky
Duke
good game.
is still in contention.
Darian Mensah is played well after those
Why
first
has
couple
the
of games.
Virginia Tech game cost so much?
But it's a big rivalry. Virginia and Virginia Tech, big rivalry.
I still think Virginia and West Virginia should play each other every year, but nobody agrees.
I don't think Virginia cannot make the playoff without winning the ACC championship. I don't think they'll do that, but they may make it there. If they beat Duke, they'll beat Virginia Tech, and they'll make it there. So number 18, USC. We talked about those teams in the Big Ten that still kind of have an ability to make it, right? I mean, USC is not out. I think that people wrote them off maybe a little early. They did lose to Illinois. They lost to Notre Dame, but here they are. They're sitting at, they're 7-2. They've got the games against Iowa and then at Oregon, and then they close the season with UCLA. These are not games they can't win. None of those teams are, juggernauts. So, I mean, USC's got a shot here, and so is our next, another from the Big Ten. Who's next in our rankings, Jeff? Michigan, another team. If Michigan beats Ohio State, they're going to the playoffs. The only challenge will be, I think if they beat Michigan State, they go to the playoffs. They don't have a tough run out. Ohio State, I mean, they do. If you exclude Ohio State, they don't have a tough run out. They're going to play Northwestern, tougher game than you think.
Northwestern, Maryland are both on the road. Both of those are upset alerts.
They are upset alerts, maybe. Get Ohio State at home. Ohio State hadn't beat them in what is it? What do we see? We see a sign on Raw every week, 2,600 days. Here, I'll do that.
Yeah, you do it. I don't think Michigan's very good.
I was an early believer.
I was not, and then they made you not believe, and I still never believed. So.
The entire website's been 2,171 days since Ohio State beat Michigan, and unless they beat Duke, fix that, but Michigan's got a chance. I'm telling you, Michigan wins out. They're going to be there. And I've been saying, I was on their bandwagon for a long time. Number 20, we talked about it. They
have a
upset.
gauntlet, but it's Pitt. And if Pitt wins out, they're making the playoff, no doubt.
Well, yeah, not unless they win the ACC championship. If they win the ACC, they won't.
No, I don't believe you. I think that if they win out,
their schedule's not better than if they win out, they'll still be sitting there. And as the committee talks about all the time, quality wins are good, but also the losses matter too, and you can't get past that West Virginia loss. They lost to West Virginia, and that's just they have to win the ACC championship. Are they capable of winning the ACC championship? Sure. If they win these next 3 games, good on them.
I think the team that beats Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Miami 3 weeks in a row should get it.
First off, I don't think they're going to win all 3 of those. But
No.
All right, number 21, who we got? We got our group of 5. That was an exciting game on Friday.
Tulane.
The Tulane Green Wave. Now,
that conference is.
don't ask me about that conference either, because the American Conference is a bit insane. Let's see, can we get the standings of that game? Probably the standings, right? Let's look at the standings in the American, because they are, okay, so you got Navy still at the top, then South Florida, then Tulane, until North Texas they have 5 teams with 1 loss, and Memphis is at 2. I mean, good luck figuring that one out.
Yeah, and honestly, good luck. Because
And that number, who we got at number 22, Dax?
number 22, we have the Louisville Cardinals.
The Louisville Cardinals, they are,
Oh, by the way, quick side note here. San Diego State could make, or James Madison could both make the playoff if East Carolina wins the American. Just gonna put that out there.
there's also a scenario where the ACC champion does not make the playoff.
Yeah.
If,
If Duke wins the ACC, I don't think
for
they'll
sure,
make the playoff.
that's a good, I think if SMU wins the ACC, I think they're in trouble. I think the ACC might have a problem. But,
I think the lost ACC team made it in last year.
because they won the championship game, and they're an automatic qualifier. And
If SMU wins the ACC championship, they would be in the championship.
there's a scenario where if James Madison and, say, Tulane are ranked above the ACC champion, the ACC would not make the playoff.
Yeah, but they weren't ranked at all.
We'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. There's a scenario there. Number 23, another one of our group of 5 specials. If you're in Denton, go out and see Drew Mestamaker. You won't be able to see him there next year. I don't know where he's going to be. Texas Tech. Y'all know the quarterback. Maybe y'all saw him. My guess is wherever Eric Morrison ends up, that's where he ends up. But they're having a great season up there. They're not going to make the playoff. They might, but I don't think so. Who we got at number 24, Dax?
Number 24 is Cincinnati. Now, they are in contention for the Big 12.
Cincinnati controls their own destiny.
They have a tough Big 12 schedule. I remember that.
Cincinnati has the opportunity. They control their own destiny, and could, make the Big 12 championship game. I do think they have to do that in order to make the playoff. But they play Arizona at home, BYU at home, and then at TCU. And I'm pretty confident if they do that, then they will make the Big 12 championship and have a chance.
I agree with you.
Because if you look at the standings, they would be one. They only have one loss.
They have 2 losses.
Only one conference loss. Only one conference loss. And so they would get BYU. Basically, that game BYU versus Cincinnati would be for the Big 12 championship game. Because if they only have one loss, right? So Cincinnati don't rule them out yet. And who do we have rounding out our top 25? At
SMU.
SMU Mustangs. The SMU Mustangs, who had high expectations coming into this year, and the loss to
Everybody
Baylor.
forgot about them.
Well, the loss to Baylor, followed by the loss to TCU, and then they lose to Wake Forest. Everybody forgot about them. But at this point of the season, what you have to be thinking about is not necessarily who do you lose, who all do you lose to. That Baylor loss doesn't matter anymore. That TCU loss doesn't matter anymore. Yes, they lost every holy war in Texas, right? They're the worst of the 3 religions in Texas, but now you're in conference play. They're 5-1. If they win out, they have Louisville. Basically, that's the game. They have 2 tough games, Louisville and California. But if they win out, I think they'll make the
I think they need help.
ACC championship.
They need help, too, because
I don't know. Like I say, you got to get into tiebreakers.
one
at
of
that point,
Pitt and
so.
Georgia Tech won't be in it.
One of those 2 will have 2 losses, for sure.
So for them, they want Pitt to win that game and then Miami to beat Pitt. And then it'd just be them, Duke, and Virginia. And Duke and Virginia play each other.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. So I think SMU's got a chance.
And
We're
then
going to
I
end
think
up.
SMU is better than both Virginia and Duke.
We're gonna get SMU back in the playoff in the year. They're ranked number 33 in SP Plus. This is the nightmare scenario. I'm telling you, this is the nightmare scenario for the ACC. SMU is the nightmare because SMU wins out and wins the ACC championship with 3 losses, and Tulane and James Madison win out. There's a chance that those 2 teams are both ranked ahead of SMU. I'm not saying I think that's going to happen. I'm saying it could. And if it does,
I'm saying, another thing I'd say is that I don't know if the winner of the American is going to make it, even if the ACC.
I'm not saying I think any of these things are probable. I'm saying they're all possible.
Because if we go to James Madison, which we're not, but James Madison, everyone in the American.
No, the Dukes have a chance. The Dukes have a chance, 100%.
Mhm.
It's too early to tell. after next weekend, we're going to Jellystone. If you've never been to Jellystone in Burleson, Texas, highly recommend that. But
Any
after
Jellystone really, but that one's really good.
next Sunday, we should do this podcast after the Cowboy game and look at what the situation is. It'll be a little clearer after next weekend, but I'm just telling you there is a absolute scenario where SMU ruins it for the ACC. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like and pound that subscribe button.
We did do what we've been wanting to do, and have a longer video.
Yeah, we did. We've been talking about having shorter videos. Sorry about that, guys. We'll work
No,
on that.
we've been wanting longer videos.
Oh, have we? Okay. Well, don't forget to tune in next week. I think after next week, a lot of things are going to be a little more clear. So,
Mm-hmm.
thanks, guys.